Hello, all, and welcome to the weekly podcast. I'm your host, Gurtej Atwal. I have my co host today with me, Harpreet Grewal.
Hello, all, and welcome all again to our podcast again. And you know that we bring up some new different topics which are in like we need to talk about, which need to get the awareness. So today again we have some different topic. We all know about the homelessness of the peoples, like we're talking about in US. So specifically on that topic, we are totally focusing today on youth homelessness, what it is, how is it happening, and what is happening all across. And thank you, Gurtej, for bringing him up again on the show, sir.
No, thank you very much, Harpreet. As you mentioned, that we have to focus on homelessness everywhere across the globe. We are seeing this issue in all the countries. So, at early stage, we are seeing the homelessness in our youth too. So, first, we have to understand what is homelessness in our youth, why it's happening. Then we look into some of the steps to make us aware so that we can be part of the society to just change that thing and let our young children live a healthy and happy life. So if
Exactly.
we talk about some numbers, so around 3,700 and 37,500. So if we talk about just in California, so those many homeless are generated every year. So there's not a problem of one particular entity. So it is a collective effort. We will look at it. So how those things can be cured. And as we know, some parts the weather is very harsh, rain is there and all that thing. And in the nights, around 6,000 homeless people, they are staying outside their homes in those harsh weathers. So, Harpreet, how do you define the homeless in our youth?
So homelessness is like, of course, we talk about homeless. We saw it's not like we every in as we're talking about the California or you can say Bay Area. We every day conquer them and we go through them wherever is irrespective of cities or places we live in. We do see those people living on the streets, and as Gurtej mentioned, that they are living there in those kind of different situations or the weather or whatever things they have to face while they are there out in the night or day, irrespective of getting their foods and all those things. So yeah, as you are sharing the slide, so out of those, I will say 2 out of 3 are male, which are there on the streets, living and struggling for their life to be on some shelter, something like that, to gain respect, or I can say to be in some places where they can enhance their uh, life or something to get into improve their lives. So some minority, as it says, the some minority pops up in the represented, including Aboriginal youth. They are LGBT youth are represented. An average length, which is there mentioned, is like 4 years, which is a lot. If we talk about the youth, we are saying, and that is the time when youth develop their skills, they grow, they learn, and they want to establish. Because when we talk about the youth, we know every country has that base which is made by youth. We have to let them develop and let the country develop with them. If we are not taking care of them, we are missing a lot on those kind of here. And then when we are saying it's a 4 years, that's affect a lot.
Yeah, no, thank you, Harpreet. Now let's look at some of the main causes of our homelessness. Normally, there is a misconception. We only focus on one particular part, that is system failure. We say the system has failed. But there are other key factors too, like the structural factors, individual and relationship factors as well. So we have to look at all those aspects. So the importance of developing a response based on the need of the young people. So as there can be structural factor, there can be family or somebody is depressed or the system failure. First of all, we have to learn what those factors are so that we can contribute as a responsible part of this society to cure those factors. So,
Yeah.
Harpreet, can you share some of the strategies that can be used to end homelessness?
So yeah, as we just talked, we know that there is things going on, keep on increasing. So we, everybody, as we know, come in face to face, like we see those things. So we have to have some strategy. We cannot say that, okay, fine, we want to remove them in a day, it can be done. There should be some strategy which should be made, and then we have to keep them we have to adopt that, and then we have to go with that. So like as you're sharing, can we move from this? Yes, we can. Everything can be done. It's like nothing is impossible in this world. So we can say we have to prevent those things and we have to act on that. in emergency, and we have to provide the housing and support. That's the main thing which they need when they don't have a homes. So we have to start somewhere, and for that, like as we said, we have to have strategy. So how can we make strategy? Where do we start from? So yeah, you can see time on this, that what plan can we have to, everything has start with a plan. We have to plan something in order to build something. So Gurtej, you want to put something on that, like what plan and how the things work on that thing?
Yeah, so we have to create a plan like we were talking about the structural, or somebody is in depression, there is a system failure. So we have to talk among ourselves as well as with the authorities to create a creative approach so that we are targeting the problem which is happening. So the approach should be integrated. So all the systems, all the parties have to work together. So there are many non-profits, government organizations that work towards these problems, mental health organizations as well, law enforcement as well. So everybody has to come together and work on an integrated approach. So no single approach or no single person can cure this problem on their own, because we all are aware that in developing countries too, this is a big problem. So integrated approach, we can say like system of care approach. So we are caring about each other. We are creating a affordable housing for those people who are struggling. So there should be active involvement by all the departments, by the government organizations. The strategy, it is collective. No single part is working alone. So everybody is working together towards these approaches. So Harpreet, so yeah, please.
So yeah, so as you said, we have to have a strategy and we have to make a plan according to that. And then when we all get together, is as I said, we cannot work like, if I say, if I go into the go out and I want to do something, I can do something, but I cannot do it for the whole the people bunches living on the street. So we have to have the system involved in every organization, every person, society, and everybody includes in that. So they have to engage on those kind of things. As Gurtej mentioned, that government has to have their, society has to be there, and then everybody when collaborates and they think of the plan and they see what's going on, and then second step is like what we can do to take them out of those kind of things. So yeah, we have to do those kind of things, and then
Yeah. So
yeah,
solving a homelessness problem is not just we are making anybody responsible. Okay, this is your fault. This is law enforcement fault. This is government's fault. No, we have to understand that there are many factors that are involved, like child protection. Children have to be provided a good environment. There should be training towards not doing or not happening child abuse. Everybody has to be aware. There has to be education around those topics. So income support. So we know families sometimes they struggle, then those children they suffer. So there should be a support system to the children till such age so that they are supported. Mental health. So children, if they are in an abusive environment, they have to be supported through the healthcare system to provide good mental health. Addiction, that can be one of the key issues. So everybody has to be made aware, or if some children or youth falls into that part, so there should be a mechanism to take them out of those problems. So there is a adopt a youth development focus. So Harpreet, let's share about this approach.
yep. So as you said, adopt a youth development focus. So there should be a recognition of a distinctive needs of youth, the primary of positive youth development approach. So like everybody has to make an effort, as we keep saying, that we have to have the adopt those thing kind of things. That we have to get the youths, and then we see what we can do, and we have to like pick those things, that what are the things which are not working out for them. That, as we mentioned in the previous slides, that there can be mental issues or health issues, all those things. We have to talk to them, and then we have to work with those kind of youths and then say what they are going through. We cannot like say, okay, fine, they are homelessness and we can avoid them. That cannot be done. That is not going to make the things change. We have to take those things in consideration, and we have to talk to them, and then we have to come up with a solution, that what are they going through and how those things can be avoided, and how we can go and talk to different. It's like there might be, as you said, a number of issues on those previous slides. One youth can have some other issues, and other one can have some other issues. So they might have all the different issues going on, and then when we talk to them collaboratively, we know what we can do. Either someone has the issues with the education, we can talk to the education kind of thing, and then someone has the family issues, we can talk to the government or system that they are not having proper investment like money or all those things, because of which they are on those streets. So all those things need to be talked to, and then work with the youth to like what we can do on those kind of things.
Right. No, thank you, Harpreet. So we have to understand how the socio-economic shifts have changed our adolescents or our younger children and our young adulthood. So jobs are very limited for young people. So those young people are getting very limited pay at all those times. So it is very challenging for them to survive, to just pay their bills. So
Yes.
across the globe, we are seeing this problem. So they have to stay in schools longer. Like education system is very becoming very expensive, and only those kids succeed in their life who are getting graduation or
Yeah.
post graduation. Earlier, a bachelor's degree was more than sufficient for somebody to get a good job, but now master's degree, that is becoming more prominent, and education is becoming very expensive as well. So those young people, they are staying with their parents for much longer time because they cannot afford to be independent. So those are also factors that are hurting those children. So we have to focus on adulthood, so not independence. So we have to make them good children with good educational skills, away from addiction, away from any problems, so that they are adult, they are responsible. We don't have to push them towards independence. Okay, so you are at this age, you do not have good education or something, but you have to be independent. That factor will take them away from education and will force them into the issues that they face in their day-to-day lives.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Harpreet, so what do you think, just gathering information, research, how does that play a role?
So as I said before as well, that like we have to know what is the reason behind them to be on the streets. And the one reason again we talked, like as Gurtej mentioned, that they might be lacking in education, or that they are living longer with the parents, and they, because of that, they don't want to be there, and they want to go out like in the streets, or what, something make them land on the streets. But that is not the reason. We have to search, like as I said before, I guess, that every youth, every person has, every individual has different reasons why they are on. And it's not like just gathering the data. When we gather those data and all those things, and we share the information, okay, fine, whatever we got from them, like we got the input from them, what they are going from, what they are going through, all those things. And then when we get it, every, as an individual, I can say, as a citizen or a person of the country, we can contribute whatever we can. Say someone is like be on the street, and they want to educate, they want to learn something new, but they don't, their parents don't have enough money to get them into those. In that case, like say if I'm eligible, or I have enough thing, I can do that, then I can jump into it, and I can chime in, and okay, fine, I can say I can sponsor your studies or all those things. Like it's not like only I'm saying for personal, but in that case depends upon how big the condition is, or how big the issue is for them. It depends how big the issue is, and then when we gather the information, according to that, we will divert those things to those concerned departments or the persons who can work on it, and then let them take out from those kind of conditions which they are in now.
Right. So now we understood what homelessness is in the youth and what are the factors around it. So let's see how we can prevent this youth homelessness together.
Yep.
So thinking about prevention, so it can be categorized into three things: primary prevention, systems prevention, and early intervention. We'll look into these parts one by one. So Harpreet, share us with what is primary prevention.
So okay, thank you, Gurtej. So like we just know that there can be different things which we can, how we can take them out from those. So first, as we are sharing primary prevention, so we can, as we know that we can, when we talk to them, there's a lot of cases coming on with for the child abuses. So that is the case when the kids or youth want to move out from their houses and they are on the street, and that is a major issue, I can say, nowadays going on, and there should not be the things for the youth or anybody in the country, I can say, as part of the citizen of the country. So that can be talked first of all, that this should not be the case. Like, I know that we and in the US we have those things in the records and everybody is taking care of those things. If we see something like that in public, if something is happening like that, child abuse and all those things, but what if that those kind of things happening in the houses or in the private where anybody cannot reach out? So in that case, we need to go and talk to those kind of kids, that if there is something like those things happening, we have to reach out to their parents, what's wrong and what or not. And then at that kind of days, these kind of things, action should be taken care of by the government. Of course, we cannot do it individually. And then, as I said, we have to involve those kind of systems or departments which can take care of those things, take action or whatever they want to, take them out, those kids from those streets, and make it to some other shelter homes or whatever they fit better into. They can move it accordingly.
Right. So we all have to work with the schools as well. So, like as parents, as neighbors, as responsible citizens, we have to take part in the activities that are happening in school so that those school going children get exposure of their society. We have to see they are getting good education, quality education in all the schools, because we all see that school to school system differs. Some
Yeah.
schools have better facilities, some schools have don't have that much of good facilities for the students. So that is our responsibility wherever we are. If we have a school close by, we just can participate because we have our own experience, we have our own education. We can just give back to those school going children based on our expertise, and that will help a lot. So Harpreet, so how can one work with the families?
So yeah, that's also one way. It's a very good point to work with the families if we are seeing those kind of issues. So connecting with the resources where it is coming from. Basically, every youth or every individual is a part of some family. So we have to reach out to those families, that what is going on there and what is lacking on those kind of things, which is leading to these things, which is we calling, which we are talking about, is youth homelessness. And then when we connect to them, we talk to them, and then if there is something called anger management and conflict with the kids or the families and those kind of things, we have to work out on those things. Okay, yeah, things happens in the families and all, as all those things, but that is not the way to come out. Okay, fine, you have to leave your house. That is not the only way to go out of those things. There is a management teams or teams which we work on those different kind of things which happens, as we are seeing on the screen, that anger management thing. So that can be taken care. If we talk to them, we know that someone is getting more anger and all those things, they can, we talked about these to take them out of all those things. And then comes foster parenting skills and healthy childhood development. This is also much needed. And sure, young people have access to early childhood education, educate nutrition, and enrich engagement. So this we talked about a lot, that we, every kid or every youth need the education and the nutrition for the health to be on a better, to give the better presentation to the company or like anywhere.
Yeah, no, that is our responsibility to see that kids are not discriminated, not discriminated on the basis of their color, not discriminated on the basis of how much money their parents have, how do they speak, how good they look, how healthy they are. So there should be no discrimination among the kids, among the youth. That will help them have the same kind of confidence, because time doesn't stay the same. They
Exactly.
get education, they learn a lot. So we have to make sure kids, our youth, they live in an anti-discrimination environment.
Yeah.
So what is system prevention?
So now we come to, like we talked about before, then we come to system prevention, zero discharge into homeless. We have to check care of child protection, youth criminal justice, and mental health. So when we talk about these kind of things, so we have to protect, as we pick the points, the child protection. We have to protect them for any illness or like something is like home abusement or something like that going on. We have to protect them. If something is going on, we have to talk them, and we, like we know in the US, if something is happening to the kids, they give the warning first time, and then they take out the keys, and they could take them to the foster homes and all those things, because they don't want to get the kids harm on all kinds of things. And if there is a youth criminal justice, so that should be done, because I know that we have to make a justice for those youths which land into those criminal things, which land into like they do those kind of things, and that lead to let them to the jail and all those things. And then we have to talk to them why they are doing those such kind of things, if they are into the need of the money or there is something else going on behind them, and what is all those things coming on and that is leading them to do these kind of things. So we have to talk about those, and then we have to move them to the particular place where they can fit more instead of being at home if needed.
Right. No, there has to be some early intervention. So once see that our youth, our kids, they're moving towards homelessness, at that point we have to take a decision. We have to help them so that they don't fall into that trap. Because if some problem is taken care of at an early stage, it does not become that big. So we have, as a citizen, as a fellow who are seeing these problems, we have to encourage each and everybody to get engaged at those early stages so that this doesn't become a bigger problem. So
Yeah.
how can these key interventions happen? So there can be case management, families can be recognized, shelter diversion. We have to see that they are moving from homelessness to a family oriented structure. Their families can be reunited. So it can happen that families are falling apart. That's why kids are becoming, or youth is becoming homelessness. We can educate those families. This is a critical time. You have to be united. You have to be rehoused. The government or the system has to help them at that point of time, give them facilities so that once they fall into that homelessness trap, quickly they go back into the system, into the mainstream. So Harpreet, so shelter diversion, so what it is?
The shelter donation is like, as we said, we have to keep them, give them some shelter, like if they are on those kind of things, and they we have to move into some kind of shelters where they don't feel insecure or they don't have those kind of basic facilities. So we have to, as we said, different system involved here. The government has to get involved to give them housing facility, to give them shelter if they don't have those kind of things. And on those shelters, they have to provide the basic facilities for them, like medication or something, and keeping young people in their communities. So they have to, because I can say that talking is best medicine. I can say, if you have someone to talk to, if you have someone to talk about your issues, or if something is going on your mind, they are in those kind of shelters. They get the basic facilities, food and education and medications. They will be in a much better place going forward if they have those things which they are not getting in the shelter, which, sorry, not in shelter, not when they are on the streets. So like, if we give them those kind of shelters, they will be developing and they can grow and they can learn and they can help society to grow as well in that case.
Right. So we have to work on retooling the emergency system. As we were discussing, that there should be an emergency system in place that should not allow those children, that youth, to fall into that homelessness trap for longer. So there has to be a shorter stay in those emergency shelters. There has to be integrated system of care, so that that discharge that is happening into homelessness, that should be cured at the early stage. So there has to be day programs for that youth, so that they are provided necessary mental health programs. They have to be provided necessary education, so small tools, small skills, so that they can find jobs and just come back into the mainstream at a quicker stage. So retooling, what it is outreach, the mental health support that they can be provided. So there should not be felt any harm to those youth. They should be felt like somebody is caring them. And anti-discrimination, that is a key important thing. So there has to be legal privilege to them. They have to be educated about their rights. They have to be provided education towards the justice issues that they may be facing. So Harpreet, share us with accommodation and support, so how it can help them.
So like, as we talked about, we have to let them into some place where they feel secure, not in the streets. So when we are talking about the accommodation or housing or shelter place, that where they can go and have some social and health supports, they have some source where they can get some income and get the employment, as you just mentioned, Gurtej, that they should learn some things which can lead them to learn and then earn the money. Because of those kind of skills, they should learn and earn some money so that they can lead into some employment. And also they have to get the education there, so some kind of education, basic things. I know we talked about that they have, like, nowadays masters and those kind of things are like basic needs nowadays, but at least if they are having some basic skills which can lead them to earn the basic wages and that kind of thing, that will lead into that better life going forward. And then youth engagement and system of care. So like, if we if we take these steps for them and move them to those and things, and as you mentioned before, that they should not be getting stayed for those kind of housing shelters for longer term, because they will know that, fine, we don't have to make any efforts, because even if we don't make effort, they are getting their basic needs done. So they should get learn those kind of things. Like, fine, we have to earn, we have to get those skills, and then get out in the market to get our better lives out there.
Right. So transitional housing means transitional. It is not permanent. It is
Yeah.
preparing them for the independent living. So first thing is transitional houses, that is for a shorter term. Then is transitional support. Support is education. Support is providing the needed mental health.
Yeah.
Support is providing those small courses, that small tools that will help them towards their independent living. So, is there still a role of transitional housing? Yes, there is a big role of transitional housing. So, Harpreet, how does transitional housing help?
So yeah, as we are seeing on the screen, thank you, Gurtej, that we are seeing the centering of the project and the needs of the youth. We have to focus on young people must demonstrate a desire of change. Like, it cannot, as I said before, if we cannot let them to be there for longer term, they have to desire for a change. They got into that housing first, that transitional housing, and then they are learning and they want to have some change in their life coming on, so that they can move on. And then adopting a client-centered case management approach and focus on a personal development, life skills, and enhancing self-esteem. That is more needed, because they have to learn what they can do. We have to let them know that they are not like that worthless. They can do much better to make a society betterness. And at the end, we have to, of course, we have to educate them. We have to provide them training opportunities so that they can make a better societies.
No, thank you very much, Harpreet. So, as we have understood what youth homelessness is and how it is impacting not only one city, not only one neighborhood, it is impacting developed countries, it is impacting developing countries all around the globe. So, first we have to see what the problem is, then we have to understand what key parts of the problem are and work collectively, collaboratively. It's not the problem of a family. It's not the problem of a government. It's
Yes.
our problem. We have to learn. We have to work together. We have to get information and find the solutions. So today we discussed about this youth homelessness topic, and next week we will come up with another topic to share information so that we are always aware and working towards a positive change. With that, we are thankful to our audience. We will see you next week. Till then, stay healthy, stay informed. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Bye bye.